A lot of people have asked me how to use river sand and how to filter river sand, and that's what we are going to be talking in this video. Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener, and today we are going to be talking about how to use the river sand. Now there are a lot of components in this. It includes a lot of small little gritty stones, it includes a lot of sand, fine sand, and the fine sand is something that we need to separate from the coarse sand that is present in this. Now every sand is going to be like this because there are different types of sand. Whenever we think about sand, the first thing that comes to our mind is the beach sand. Now never ever use beach sand because it contains a lot of salinity. It is very saline and that is not going to work out really well. So now you can see I have used this filtration, and now I'm just going to filter it, and you can see the amount of fine sand that is falling from this. You can see this. And this is the only drawback about the river sand, that when you are going to be filtering it, you are just going to be left with very little in this, because this is what we are going to be using for our adult succulents and not the one that is coming out, which is fine. You can see how fine it is. I will again put it in another container and give you a close-up of it. So we'll have to filter it until all of that fine dust has dropped through the filtration. Now again guys, I'm not very sure about the beach sand because of course I never use beach sand. Beach sand tends to contain a lot of salt. It is very saline. A lot of people have said that if you take the beach sand from further away from the shore, then it does not have a lot of salinity in it. It is not very saline. I'm not very sure about that, so I cannot vouch for it. But if people who are around this area or location that are closer to the coastal area would have a better idea about it, if anyone has used beach sand. But if you're going to take my advice, to be on the safer side, I wouldn't recommend you to use beach sand, because we don't know what is the amount of salt that is present in it, because salt will definitely kill your succulent. So please do not get into it. If you're not very sure about the sand, just don't use the beach sand because it contains a lot of salt. Again, only the people who are in that location can confirm about it, but I will not recommend using the beach sand because it has a high content of salt, and that is going to kill your succulent. Because I have had an experience of a person who had used salt water for the succulent accidentally. They thought that it was a freshwater aquarium and they happened to use water from that, and it turned out to be it was a salt water aquarium. And the moment they used that water, the entire succulent collection was destroyed. So you have to be extremely careful. So let me completely finish filtering this up. So after we are done with filtering, this is what you are going to get. This is the fine sand, what I was talking about. Now guys, this is not going to work out really well for succulents. The reason is because on its own it is loose, it is porous once it gets wet. And once it gets wet, it will be well draining, of course, and once it dries, it will again become porous. It will again become loose like this. But the issue with fine sand is once it comes in contact with garden soil, because garden soil is important, you cannot grow succulents only in this. The reason behind this is because this is a fine silica. It does not have its own nutritional value. It does not have the capacity of retaining moisture, which our succulents require a little bit. And overall in general, it is not going to work out really well. This is very, very fine, and when you are going to mix garden soil with this, over the period of time, this will become very compact because this is very, very fine. So when it is amended or when it is mixed with garden soil, it will start to turn compact. Now I'm not very sure, even if you're going to add 10% of garden soil, probably you might have lumps in this, so it's not going to work out really well. So if you are finding this type of sand which is this fine, like it's almost like salt, then please do not go for this option. This is not a very good thing that you have to use. This can be used for making pots. This can be used for if you're using foliage plants, and if you're using coco peat, it might work out. You can even use this for leaf propagations as well. When you mix it with coco peat and garden soil, you can use it for leaf propagation, but not for adult succulents. And after filtering, this is what is left back in the net, and this is going to work out really well for your succulents. So this can be added with filtered garden soil, and then you can use it for your succulents. Now you can see the let me show you the comparison of both. So you can see the major difference. This is what's been filtered out and this was what was left in the net. So this is what you are going to be using for your adult succulents. You can see it's very granular. Please do not use this because this is going to further make your soil even more compact. So this is something that a lot of people were asking me, which sand should we use? So if you have a sand like this, please do not use it for your adult succulents. But if you can filter it, now the drawback about filtering is when you tend to filter it, the majority of the material that is going to come out is this fine thing, and you're going to be left with very little of this material. With the granular material is going to be very less as compared to the fine one. So always go for the one that is more granular and that has more of this gritty material in it. And then you can go ahead and use that sand which we had filtered, not the fine one, the other one, which is a slightly granular one. You can then go ahead and use it with other material. Like over here, I have some pumice perlite in this, and there is that little bit of sand over here, and then I have my mountain soil. So I make a mix because this is a new mix that I have started to work with, and it is working out really well. So it has a good amount of the mountain soil, which is like basically these bigger rocks that you're seeing in the screen. So I have these mountain soil, which are these slightly bigger pieces of rocks, and then there is that white one which is pumice. So I have started to use this mix and it has been working out really well. So I mix all of this, and this is the sand, the larger granular of sand that we had. So I mix all of them and then I tend to use it for my succulents, and this has been working out really well for all of my succulents. So right now I'm focusing more on this. It also has a very little amount of garden soil. The garden soil is not going to be very visible in this because it's kind of mixed with this. So this is a very gritty kind of soil mix that I have been using for my succulents, and my succulents are doing excellent in this kind of mix. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep planting.